It was a Thursday, an ordinary day with no particular meaning. Yet it marked the moment my world began to fracture. I remember it clearly because that's when she stood in the doorway, clutching an old duffel bag, and said words that shattered everything inside me. "I'm going to stay with my ex for a month. He's going through a rough time and needs help." Not a friend, not a family emergency, her former boyfriend. A hollow laugh escaped me, not from amusement, but from the ache of betrayal. Our teenage daughter sat at the kitchen island, barely paying attention, scrolling through her phone. She glanced up, rolled her eyes, and muttered, "It's just 30 days, Dad. Chill out." In that instant, something inside me shifted. Not anger yet, but a deep, unsettling calm. We had been married for 18 years, building a life from modest means, fueled by late-night coffees and shared dreams. Our mornings started with quiet walks through the neighborhood, afternoons spent tending the small herb garden in the backyard, Sundays filled with lazy contentment. I loved her deeply. Her soft voice singing along to old records, the faint scar above her left eyebrow, even her strange dislike of cilantro. Our daughter was the living proof of all the good we had created together. But love isn't always protection. Sometimes it's the soft place where the sharpest pain finds its mark. 3 months before that day, I had begun to notice changes. Her phone always face down, the sudden habit of putting on lipstick before stepping out, showers at odd times, a scent on her clothes that wasn't mine. When I asked, she laughed it off lightly. I didn't push. I watched quietly, and she mistook my silence for weakness, unaware that I was already preparing. When she left, I didn't argue. I packed her bag, kissed her forehead gently, and gave her a faint smile. I let them believe I was broken, that I had collapsed while she played the savior to her ex's fragile ego. But I became something sharper, more calculated. I hired a private investigator, a cold, unflinching seeker of truth. Photos, messages, timestamps. They weren't repairing a broken relationship. They were building a new life in a home I had paid for, eating from plates I once washed. Our daughter visited them, shared dinners, called him by his first name like he was family. I moved silently, safeguarding our finances, rerouting savings, freezing shared accounts, transferring assets into a trust she couldn't touch. Then the house. My lawyer, thorough and precise, advised him to file for divorce while she still lived with him. Grounds: abandonment, infidelity, irrefutable evidence. She would lose any claim to the home beyond what the court allowed. I documented everything, screenshots, dates, her own social media posts flaunting her betrayal with reckless abandon. The month passed. She returned with a hopeful smile, speaking of finding herself, rediscovering balance, reconnecting with her truth. I slid a manila envelope across the table. Divorce papers, meticulously prepared. Her face crumpled. She accused me of betrayal. "You can't be serious," she whispered. I was unwavering. The court hearing was swift. She faltered, lied, cried. Her ex stayed away. Our daughter sat beside her, arms crossed, glaring at me as if I had orchestrated their ruin. The judge's verdict was clear: adultery, desertion. I kept the house and most of our assets. She left with her belongings, her car, and a small sum to start over. Afterward, she spat venom. "You destroyed everything." I met her gaze, steady and calm. "No," I said. "I just stopped pretending it was worth saving." Days later, our daughter stormed in, guilt written all over her face, insisting I was punishing them and that love demanded forgiveness. I didn't shout. I didn't argue. I showed her the evidence: photos, messages, proof of her mother's lies and betrayal. Tears brimmed in her eyes as I told her she could choose her mother's path or mine, but she couldn't have both: my shelter and her mother's deception. She left that night. Their world unraveled quickly. The ex, it turned out, carried heavier burdens than anyone had known: addiction, debts, anger. He hit her once. When she reached out for help, I didn't answer. She sought a restraining order and later posted vague thoughts online about healing and self-worth. She moved into a small apartment in a tough neighborhood and was forced to work again. Our daughter tried to return a few times. I allowed visits, but the warmth between us had faded. Choices ripple outward. She chose deceit, and there are always consequences. Now I live in peace. The herb garden still thrives. Coffee brews each morning. The house breathes, cleansed of the lies that once clung to its walls. Some call me cold, so be it. I was kind until they taught me otherwise. This isn't revenge. It's clarity. Love doesn't mean bowing down to betrayal. Sometimes the kindest act is to walk away while you still can,